was watching CNN and the lady said that Elon Musk is cutting my Social Security. Up in disgrace, I tell you.
He came to the state. He talked about cutting Medicaid, Social Security through DOGE, bringing those issues up.
Actually, he never talked. He explicitly said in Green Bay that he would not cut Social Security.
Well,
that's exactly what he said.
He talked at his rallies.
No, other people said about that, but I was there. I watched him. Okay. He did not say he was going to cut Medicaid.
Other people at his rallies who work for DOGE, who work for Elon Musk's organization, talked about those issues.
No, I was at the rally. Not one of them said that. That's what protesters said, but nobody there actually said that.
Do you think that there are risks here?
There are. If people believe the lies that people are saying about that. But that's not at all what they said. If people believe that Medicaid and Medicare is going to be touched, that's just a flat, outright lie. What he talked about are people who are over 120 years old who clearly are not alive.
Well, the reason I brought it up is
Social Security or Medicaid.
Okay, well,
that's totally wrong. I think
just to sort this out, the reason I brought this up is because the claim here is that there's massive, widespread fraud and that that's all they're addressing. That's obviously a disputed claim because it's not true that 120-year-old people are getting Social Security checks. The checks stop at a certain point automatically because those checks and balances
but those Social Security numbers get counted for various parts of the federal government. So they don't get a benefit directly to those people, but they count for money that gets allocated to different departments in their budget. And they shouldn't be. If somebody is no longer alive, they shouldn't be able to count that.
I guess my fundamental question was, what are the risks here of Elon dabbling in elections for Republicans going forward?
Well, again, I think in the end, he's going to have to continue to make the case. Part of the reason why when we talked about our recall, what flipped things for us early on in that recall process, Time magazine called me Dead Man Walker. And the reason was because all the narratives coming out from the press, coming out from the left, were about all these horrible, egregious things. Once we started to give examples of the things we were actually doing, not the things the press said, not the things that our opponent said, but the things that we were actually doing, when we ended up going before the voters in the final election in the recall, we actually won by more votes than we did. So I think that what's paramount for him or anyone else aligned with him is keep giving actual examples of what they're doing. Set aside things like Social Security and make it abundantly clear that that's not being touched. But if there's waste, fraud, or abuse, spell it out, make the case, and bring it to the voters.
Governor Walker. Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. CNN. They just can't get it right. Lawsuits after lawsuits. Ratings in the toilet. Lost the people's trust. But the only thing they could report on correctly, maybe, and I still think the numbers are fake. They're just trying to be nice. That the Democrats' approval rating just dropped again another 8% from 29 to 21. But nothing but lies, fear mongering, propaganda, fake news, bias. You just can't get it right, huh, CNN? And what a day it's been for you. Especially after Trump's very victorious day today. We've had y'all getting tired of winning yet? Let me know in the comments. Y'all getting tired of winning? What's going on, family? I hope everybody is blessed, well, healthy, and that nothing but the best is going on in all you beautiful people's life. But before we get into this, Allie Phillips, and she's trending right now for, what she said live on air. And we're not surprised, man. Elon Musk and Trump are going to cut everything. They're going to cut your Social Security. They cutting that. They're going to take your rights. They're going to deport you. They're going to deport American citizens. Yeah, that's what the fake news is coming out and saying. And the MSNBCs, the CNN, they ought to shut all this crap down. I'm just saying, man. And look at this smug. Where is her lips? No, that's what they be saying in the comment section. This smug hack activist, these so-called journalists, these activists, man. But Caitlin Collins seriously tried to corner Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on the tariff strategy. Yeah. He shows in a masterclass Trump knows what he's doing. And she thought she had one. Oh, yeah.
Bring your factory to the U.S.
Yeah, and obviously with the cars, all foreign-made cars, imports, are getting a 25% tariff starting at midnight. If half the cars coming into the United States are foreign-made, that's hard to turn around overnight, as you know. So what would you say to people in the auto industry who are worried about that timeline and how quickly that can shift?
Buy American.
And what about American-made cars and produced cars that are being made using foreign-made parts?
Well, I believe the USMCA is exempt.
Yeah, those that are compliant with this. Obviously, yes. Canada and Mexico are not on here. A lot of these are our closest allies.
This lady here. It just can't seem to get it right.
You know, this seems to be kind of also another litmus test for how to be in MAGA world. I mean, is this the new reality for this MAGA era of politicians, that they don't back down when they're confronted with facts? It's clear as day. The FBI put out statistics. Crime is going down. You don't have to twist the facts.
The FBI quietly comes out with this new data that shows actually violent crime is up 4.5% during that time frame.
Anything with CNN, with any kind of numbers or polls or percentages, I'm telling you, it don't be correct. And that's why I tell y'all that approval rating that they somewhat was right on with the Democrat Party. No, it's sitting in like below 15. I'm talking about it might be below the 10%. Their leader is the Jasmine Crockett's and AOC's. Laughing stock, man.
The only person making an accusation that people are not getting what they've asked for is Trump, falsely claiming that the administration is withholding resources because of political affiliation. That is just not true.
Well, the Federal Emergency Management Agency is facing major backlash after confirming reports that a supervisor ordered disaster relief workers to avoid homes with Trump yard signs.
There's actually not any evidence linking any of Hunter Biden's wrongdoings to Joe Biden.
You are incorrect.
You think that Biden would actually pardon Hunter Biden, despite him saying
Yes, as a father, he would.
No.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Breaking news. President Biden has just pardoned his son.
Oh, man. I've been laughing all day, man. My chest hurts, man. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, CNN. This is why we can't trust you, CNN. Abby Phillips, they out of there. I'm telling you, this woman's a disgrace. And gets on live on there and says that they're cutting Social Security once again, and she gets humiliated and fact-checked. And I'm here for this, man. They shoot their career themselves in the foot. They end their careers live on TV time and time after again, man. And they wonder why the ratings are where they're at now. How hard is it to tell the truth? How hard is it? I wonder how hard is it to tell the truth? And you wonder why we are the media now. The independent media. And every time y'all come out with this crap, y'all create another Trump supporter. I'm just saying. You run people away from the party. You make people turn the TV off with this crap. Just can't make this up, man.
In his video today, the former governor of Wisconsin fact-checks CNN to their face. And the Ontario Premier, Doug Ford, he now wants to remove tariffs from America. And Democrats are still crying about President Trump deporting illegal migrants. But where we're first going to start is this nice message from Jasmine Crockett to people like you and me.
I want y'all to know that, like, MAGA just, there's nothing that I could ever say or do that would make MAGA be like, that's our girl, right? Because, like, first of all, ton of racist. So never happening, right? But you have to understand that, number one.
Look at this. Ugh. I dinner almost threw the damn up. Almost threw the damn up. Almost yacked all on the floor in here. And she think this is cute and professional, man. This woman's a disgrace. And even black people don't claim this lady. Texas is ashamed of this lady. And we are shooting for Sheldon Daniels, man. Now she is landslided out. This woman is an embarrassment. Loud, ignorant, ghetto. The way this woman carries herself, as you can see. But this is the picture that Democrats, the party wants you to see. This picture right here. Let them keep at it. Let her keep talking. Let her keep, keep putting her out live on TV and see where it leads you. Keep putting her out there.
They want to distract from all the disastrous things that they're doing, while literally they are risking all of our security. Not the security of Democrats, not the security of independents, but they are risking the security of all of us in so many ways.
Okay. It's actually like a reality TV show, I'm telling you. Politics with these people have become a reality TV show. People can't wait to see what's going on the news, what their favorite content creators post. And I know y'all be waiting for me to post. What's happening today with Rick? Let's see what's going on. It's just a reality. It's just a reality TV show at this point. We come on here to have a good time, because that's what it is with these people, man. You can't take them serious anymore. You just can't. You cannot take these people serious. You cannot take a Democrat serious anymore. Maybe a couple conservative Democrats, but. And a lot of them right now have left. They're gone. Oh my.
Okay, well, according to the leader of the Democrats, Jasmine Crockett believes you, me, and everyone else who supports Trump in some fashion,
we're all racist. What those ladies say: misogyny, sexism, racist. They're all uneducated people. They didn't go to school.
That we are racist. Okay. That's the first thing. Secondly,
we're Nazis.
President Trump has been compromising our security as a nation. Now, I suppose she has forgotten the disastrous administration from Joe Biden, who let in over 10 million illegals into this country and definitely compromised our security. But you know what? I wouldn't expect anything less from her. And that type of mindset takes us to this first story, where CNN is continuing to push lies about Elon Musk right after the election last night. And let me just say it didn't go well for them, because the former governor of Wisconsin had to fact check Abby Phillips to her face.
He came to the state. He talked about cutting Medicaid, Social Security through DOGE, bringing those issues up.
Actually, he never talked. He explicitly said in Green Bay that he would not cut Social Security.
Well,
that's exactly what he said.
I love this. This needs to happen more. More fact checks need to just and some of these people, they sit up there and they say, wait, but no, we need to full blown and hit them with it, man. Stop letting these people get up live on TV and lie. Fake news, propaganda, the misinformation, bias. It's been lie after lie after lie. We have to check people right there. Check them. Right there. And then after she got hit with that reality check, she's like, well, you know what? Oh. Like, like we know what y'all agenda is, CNN. We know you can't tell the truth, lady. Y'all get up here and embarrass y'allself, man, and humiliate y'allself. When people know what's going on. And we tired of hearing the same crap. Elon got to come out and repeat himself time and time again. Trump got to repeat himself. Everybody got to repeat themselves, man. And then he shows you the biggest scam in American history. Live on the chart.
Rallies.
No. Other people said about that, but I was there. I watched them. Okay. He did not say he was going to cut Medicaid.
Other people at his rallies who work for DOGE, who work for Elon Musk's organization, talked about those issues.
No, I was at the rally. Not one of them said that. That's what protesters
risks?
said, but nobody there actually said that.
Do you think that there are risks
protesters
here?
and CNN said fake news.
The lies that people are
those
saying
issues
about
being
that.
associated
But that's not at all what they said. If people believe that Medicaid and Medicare is going to be touched, that's just a flat outright lie. What he talked about are people who are over 120 years old,
Well,
who clearly are not alive.
well, the reason I brought it
getting
up is
Social Security or Medicare.
Okay, well,
So if you paid attention there, it went from Elon Musk is saying that he's going to cut Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security to, well, people that work for him said that. And the fact of the matter here, ladies and gentlemen, this is propaganda. Obviously,
time and time
getting debunked live in front of everybody. And it's just sad because this is why mainstream media has lost all credibility. It's okay to criticize Elon Musk and the way he's gone about this. That's fine. Everybody has their own way of getting this done. But to just come out and say that he said something when clearly there's no video footage to support that claim, it's just an outright lie.
That's totally wrong. I think
just to sort this out, the reason I brought this up is because the claim here is that there's massive widespread fraud and that's all they're addressing. That's obviously a disputed claim because it's not true that 120-year-old people are getting Social Security checks. The checks stop at a certain point automatically because those checks and balances
Social Security numbers get.
Now, of course, we have some receipts to show you.
Yep, let's go and debunk
And I
it.
want you to think about this as I go through this. If we already know we're in $36 trillion in debt, we know that the entitlement programs represents at least 50% of that. Wouldn't it make sense to go into these entitlement programs and root out improper payments, also known as fraud, waste, and abuse? I'm just saying. Now, this is from the Government Accountability Office. As of 2024, this was posted in August of last year. It says this: the Department of Health and Human Services estimated a combined total of $100 billion in improper payments in the Medicare and Medicaid programs in FY 2023. This represents 43% of the government-wide total of estimated improper payments that agencies reported for that year. Now, if we head over to epicforamerica.org, they have been tracking improper payments for Medicaid. Now, it was reported to be $543 billion over the past decade. They are now coming out, and this is as of March 3rd of this year, $1.1 trillion in improper payments, all based on a simple change from the Obama administration. And that change is that Obama halted Medicaid's ability to review eligibility requirements, meaning they're not even verifying if someone's actually eligible for Medicaid. So that's why the improper payments, if you're factoring that in, has been over $1 trillion over the past decade. Now, Antonio Garcia is the guy who's really getting attention because he's the one that really uncovered the scam that's happening within Social Security. Take a look at what he said this morning.
That's a jaw-dropping number. Where'd all those people come from?
Well, it made my jaw drop too when I saw it. We were in Social Security looking for fraud, waste, and abuse.
And this one was on the stage, and we showed y'all this, man. And it's actually going viral all over the place. One of the biggest scams in American history.
And to do that, we actually looked at the enumeration system, the system by which people get numbers in America, and we found that there were just about 5+ million of them that came to the country as illegals, were giving various forms of parole or allowed in the country, and they got through an automatic system, Social Security numbers, so they get into our benefit systems. And we tracked that through and found that they were on the benefit programs. And just because we were curious, we then looked to see if they were on the voter rolls. And we found in a handful of cooperative states that there were thousands of them on the voter rolls and that many of them had voted.
That's crazy because you cannot vote in a federal election, but I think in certain local elections you can. But, once you get a Social Security number, that helps you do a lot of stuff.
Now, I already know, and you know it too, that Democrats will come back and say, well, that's not true. Show us the proof. Even if we show them the receipts, they're not going to accept it. And this brings me to the main point, is that Democrats are making the wrong argument. They should not be fighting against the idea that there is fraud, waste, and abuse in the federal government. They really shouldn't even be wasting their time arguing about to what degree does this fraud, waste, and abuse exist. What they should be arguing is, hey, what is the solution to make sure this doesn't happen again? And how do we continue to protect the people who are authorized to receive these benefits? It's interesting how senior citizens every day get scammed. They have nothing to say. But now DOGE, who's really trying to change the system for the better, they're crying about the entire process.
I know, Antonio, part of this started with a program from, I think, 2017 that got started where if people came into the country and they were authorized to work, they would automatically give them a number. But, you know, Elon was talking a little bit about how 400,000 Social Security numbers were stolen. It was one person. What can you tell us about that?
You know, that's an ongoing investigation, so I don't know how much I can tell you, but we did find, as we looked through the programs, a particular employee that had actually sent themselves Social Security numbers through their email for reasons we don't understand, but clearly nefarious.
Yeah, it does sound like it. So let me ask you this, Antonio. Have you figured out, you saw these millions of people, non-citizens, on the Social Security rolls. Did they get benefits?
Yes, we actually tracked them through the benefit programs. We found them in virtually all the benefit programs. And one statistic for you is we found 1.3 million of them on Medicare.
Wow.
Okay, so before we go to the next story, I just have to say this. This type of fraud, waste, and abuse is a financial problem for our country. But what's even worse is when you yourself are experiencing financial to specify that today in a press conference, okay? But Canada is already getting ahead of it. Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, who's gotten tough with his language here or there, has come out today and stated that he's actually willing to remove all tariffs from America as long as America is willing to remove tariffs from them.
Let's sit down and discuss this, because it's just going to hurt American jobs. I can't stress it enough. And, you know, again, he believes he's supporting Americans. He said he was going to create jobs, create wealth, reduce inflation. It's worked the total opposite. Inflation.
But do you think it's fair that you have tariffs on a whole number of products?
That's right. And we'd be willing to take those off tomorrow if he took all the tariffs off. We are not the problem, Andrew. Do you know the problem is? China's the problem.
I just want to go back for a moment. If, in fact, you're prepared to take your tariffs off, why wouldn't you have that negotiation and that conversation now before any tariffs get put in place?
Well, we've had this conversation for over the last month. We don't want tariffs. We have another $65 billion worth of tariffs to launch today. That's the last thing we want to do.
Now, Doug Ford makes a great point about China, and I think it's something that we don't talk about enough. I mean, I do find it interesting how China literally backs up our economy. But this is supposed to be a communist country that American ideals don't support. So why are we in bed with China in that way? Oh, I know why. Because the people in Washington sold us out for money. But hey, that's a whole nother situation, right? Now, secondly, President Trump has been consistent on this for decades. We can go all the way back to the 80s where he's talking about tariffs. Okay, so if I was in Canada's shoes, what Doug Ford just said is exactly what they should have been saying from day one. Now, when we think about what the media is up to today, it's the same old scare tactics, right? They are trying to focus on the emotional side of this debate and, you know, tugging on people's heartstrings. And now they're getting a little snarky with their questioning. Take a look at this exchange between Byron Donalds and CNN.
Are you okay, though, with people feeling pain? They voted Donald Trump in because they were tired of dealing with the inflation that was there during the Biden administration. Are you okay with your constituents feeling more pressure and more pain when it comes to the economy as these tariffs are put in place and then the retaliatory tariffs
Here we go again.
are also put in place? Are you okay with pain being on their shoulders for a while as this all gets worked out?
Nobody wants pain for their constituents. I don't want pain for the people of Florida.
But Donald Trump said there will be some pain and disruptions.
Hold on. But you are...
Why do we still go on CNN? I just don't know why we go on CNN. We don't have to go on CNN. Why do we go on CNN? I just don't know.
But you are making an assumption without knowing the details.
I'm not making the assumption. Donald Trump himself said there was pain and disruption that was going to happen.
You're making an assumption. You are making an assumption, an economic assumption right now. Let's be very clear. The real pain economically has been the massive inflation coming from bloated overspending here in Washington, D.C. That is the real pain that the American people have felt the last 4 years.
Now, let's just do a quick comparison. April 1st, 2024 to March of 2025. Has there been a significant difference or increase? Because that's the way that the media is framing this. Hey, Trump is causing economic pain with his tariffs. Prices are skyrocketing. Well, let's just look at what the numbers say. If we look at fuel, last year it was $3.61 per gallon. Now it's $3.08. If we look at eggs, Last year it was $4.38. Right now it's $4.90. So that's not really a massive increase. Now we know it got up to somewhere around $6, $7 back in January of this year, and it has absolutely nosedived.
Yeah, it's
now
down.
Let's look at milk: $3.98, $4.03.
And it's crazy how that things come down, but things that are happening right now they don't want to cover. You know, they want to do all this fear mongering, this propaganda. They want to. This is the bad guy. They want to touch on people's feelings. You know, they don't want to report the real news, what's actually happening.
I guess rent has come down slightly by 1%. Mortgage rates have come down, looks like by 0.4% or 0.3%. And electricity prices has decreased as well by 36.2%. So even if they made the argument that Trump has caused prices to increase, I mean, the prices are, what is this, minimal at best.
I think that what we're going to hear is a lot about this idea of reciprocal tariffs, as you just mentioned, the idea that, you know, the United States does have the lowest tariffs virtually in the world. And as Trump has been saying, that these other countries are ripping us off. They're not playing by the rules of the game. It's not a level playing field. And, you know, I'm a free trade guy. I believe it's beneficial to the world to lower tariffs as much as possible. If Trump's policies work out here, I do believe at the end of the day that there will be a lowering of tariffs around the world. Our tariffs are about 3 or 4 or 5%, and many other countries are above 20%. And so that just is something we can't live with. And at the end of the day, this could be a liberation from those high tariffs that these other countries are charging American-made, whether it's cars or whether it's our manufactured items or whether it's technology. It simply isn't a fair trading system right now.
Listen, the numbers don't lie. The tariffs that we place on other countries is nothing in comparison to what they place on us. They know that. Democrats know that. The media knows that. But they refuse to talk about it because, again, they want to control the narrative for political gain. And I'm going to show you an example here.
Like I've been saying, man, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to report on it. I don't. It's like we're repeating ourselves, man. I'm telling you.
It so hurts American families. It is estimated that the average American family will pay more than $5,000 out of
this dingleberry, man. Look at this dingleberry and a bunch of these dingleberries that get up here. They ought to walk him out in handcuffs, man.
Their pocket to pay for these tariffs. These tariffs.
They ought to walk this dingleberry out in handcuffs. Your time's up, Chuck.
Supreme Court. So what do you think they're going to do when it comes to some of these deportations? When it comes,
look at this clown, MSN DNC. Look at this mess.
Comes to hurting students, and when it comes to deporting alleged gang members, right? And I say again, alleged because
put this big fella on the plane. Put him on the plane with the gang members. The judge too. Go get that activist judge and put y'all both on there and jump around and do jumping jacks on the plane.
There has been no due process determination about their status. And just to slightly push back on Mark, even if you tell me and you prove that they're gang members, I'm not so sure that I'm okay with them being sent off to be tortured in a foreign country, but I'll leave that aside.
So let me make it clear on what the actual debate is. From the Democrats' perspective, they're crying about due process, and that no matter if the guy is a rapist, a murderer, they don't care who they are.
They don't care.
Every single person deserves due process. They should be able to go in front of a judge and plead their case. From the Republicans' point of view, wait a minute, what are you talking about due process? The last president allowed these murderers, these criminals, these rapists to come into the country illegally. You guys didn't exercise due process then, so why are we going to exercise due process now? Again, that's really the debate here, and it also led to this heated exchange on CNN last night.
Here illegally. I know you've been
and
trying
they're being
to get
released
in,
back
so
onto the streets.
That's
not gaslighting. That's a fact.
This administration has
Laken Riley. That's gaslighting.
This administration has been drifting towards authoritarianism, similar to the disappearance of people who the regimes in Cuba and Nicaragua and Venezuela disagree with, because they're rounding people up and sending them to prisons in foreign countries with no due process.
Okay.
Yeah, so listen.
Oh, man, I've had enough, man. I've had enough, family. CNN, gotta shut the whole thing down. Let's see who followed us tonight. We are following Patriots back. Yes, indeed. Gotta give it a retweet. Thank y'all for all the love and support, man. We are following you guys back right now. Shout out to David. Surfing staff. Yes, indeed. Look at all the beautiful Patriots following you, boy. We follow everybody back. Follow you at OkayRickk. Follow me on X. We are following everybody back, man. Showing love on you guys' posts, your shares, your tweets, everything, man. We are showing love, and we are building this X count. And again, this is where we run majority of things from this account. So only the right thing to do is just show love, man. One love to the human race. I love y'all, family. And we are continuing to grow every single day to call this crap out, the corruption, the truth, and be real, man. Simple as that. We are the media now, you guys. I love y'all, and I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace and love, family.